Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are getting closer to the 2025 college football season, with Arizona being 18 days away from opening its season against Hawaii in Tucson on TNT. Just this past day, the AP poll came out with their top 25 preseason AP poll top 25. Last year, if you remember at this time, Arizona was ranked number 21 in the country, having their star quarterback return, star receiver return, tons of returners on the defensive side of the ball. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at the running back position, or so we thought. Obviously, that didn't go as planned for Arizona. Things were looking on the up and up, despite the new coaching staff with Brent Brennan leading the charge, despite some newness on the defensive side of the ball, with Joanne Aquina taking over as the defensive coordinator, with Brennan retaining him, Danny Gonzalez coming in, new faces there on the defensive side of the ball in terms of coaching. Everything was looking up. However, outside of Jonas Savanea, Arizona's offensive line, and Josh Baker, Arizona's offensive line, had some new faces. Wendell Moe was there, but you're missing Jordan Morgan. You're missing Raymond Polito, who quit football right before the start of the season, and things kind of spiraled out of control for Arizona. The end of the year 4-8. Couldn't really get things rolling. Offense struggled after the 61-point performance against New Mexico. So this year, Arizona went out, changed its coaching staff. Seth Doege, now the offense coordinator. Danny Gonzalez now promoted to the defensive coordinating job. Other guys like Joe Salavea, Josh Miller on the coaching staff as well. Arizona added 60 new faces this season through the transfer portal and in the incoming 2025 recruiting class, which we've seen throughout spring and training camp. Now, however, Noah Fifita's back. A lot of returners on the defensive side of the ball. Was Arizona going to be ranked to start this year? No. Arizona didn't receive a single vote. They were not in the AP poll top 25. In all, though, the Big 12 had 4 teams in the AP top 25. I thought they would get 5 teams like they did in the coaches poll. ASU's the highest ranked team at number 11. That's about right. I think you can make a case for them in the top 10, but having no Cam Scattaboo, that's a problem. I think that's where some voters had their issues there. You have Texas Tech with all the money that they spent during the offseason in the top 25. Iowa State in the top 25. They're a consistent program. They're going to be there. And Kansas State welcoming back Avery Johnson, their star quarterback from last season, at number 17, which Arizona finishes its non-conference schedule against the Wildcats in Tucson. Even though it's a Big 12 matchup, it's a non-conference game, and that's the last of that. Clearly, those games were scheduled before the conference realignment, and it's hard to get those things switched out. Like that, it's very difficult to schedule stuff in college football, so that game didn't get changed. But Arizona wasn't ranked. I'm not surprised. Do I think they should have been? No. Do I think they could be throughout the year? Possibly. I think there's a chance Arizona could see themselves in the AP top 25 after the third week. If they go 3-0, look impressive against Hawaii, dominant and impressive against Weber State, and pull off an upset at home against Kansas State, who's number 17 in the country right now, which with their schedule will probably be in that top 14 range, then I think you'll see Arizona slide into the top 25 somewhere between 20 to 25 before it hits the road against Iowa State. Now, that's a lot of ifs, though. You got to be healthy. You got to be ready to go. And we'll see what this offense looks like and this defense looks like as we get closer to the game against Hawaii. That's a long way away. I just wanted to talk about Arizona football training camp, what we've seen on the offensive side of the ball. One of the top guys offensively that we've seen on that side of the ball right now is Kedrick Reesano, running back. Obviously, last year didn't necessarily go as planned. When he did get his opportunities, he was a very good back. Had a couple games where he had 4 or 5 carries with 60, 70 yards. But with Dino Babers, Arizona really didn't go and try to run the football. It was mostly for 4 verts, look downfield. That was about it. That was the offense creativity that we saw from Dino Babers last season. And with the running game, with the team trailing, and even when they weren't, when they were winning, Dino just didn't go to the run. Arizona refused to run the football when they had an opportunity to. Now, there's injuries. In some cases, you couldn't run the ball. But there's some cases and times where Arizona just went away from the run. They abandoned the running game. So Riscano's stats don't look as good as other running backs, but he was a 4-star recruit, the number 5 running back in the country that went to Ole Miss, is transferred in. High-level dude. He looks faster in training camp, looks stronger, looks smarter out there on the football field. Very high IQ running back. Has gotten involved a little bit in the passing game. And I think he's the perfect back for this offensive system with up-tempo, getting the ball out, air raid. I don't think it's going to necessarily be 100% air raid style of play that Seth Doege brings to Tucson. Getting a power back, a contact back like Riscano is incredibly important. Picking up 4 or 5 yards of pure contact and having the defense having them spread out and not being able to clog the middle, I think that's going to bode well for him, and I think he's going to have a big year. Number 2 is Tyler Powell. I liked him coming out of high school. I thought, are they going to move him to offensive line, or are they going to have him at tight end? I know the previous staff with Jordan Powell, the plan was to move him at offensive line. That was the rumor. But an elite pass catcher, really good speed, you just couldn't move that to offensive line. And you've seen him progress as a tight end. You have seen him put on weight. You've seen him get better each year. And I think right now he's setting up for a breakout year. Josh Miller, the tight ends coach, has pushed these guys to be mentally tougher, to be stronger, especially in the run blocking game and the pass blocking game. He looks better at that, better footwork, better fundamentals, a little bit stronger. But he is a hard guard. He's one of those guys where you can't stick a linebacker on him, you all run him. And if you stick a corner or safety on him, it's going to probably overpower him. So I think that's a great combination to have. He's got good size, and he could be a security blanket for Noah Fafita this coming season. Number 87, Tyler Powell, I expect him to have a big year. Ironically, that's Gronk's number. I don't know how many yards or touchdowns would be a big year, because I think there's going to be him, Cam Burnett, and Sam Olsen getting some time at the tight end position, and just what the offensive numbers are going to look like for a tight end in this offense. I think anywhere between 400 to 600 yards is a solid season, with around 4 to 7 touchdowns. Now, I think that's a very good year and a breakout year, and you could see more. I think this offense is predicated in high scoring, so you could see multiple possessions. Is it going to be anything like Rich Rodriguez getting off 100-plus snaps in a game offensively? I don't know. We'll see, but I think it's going to be something close, something around maybe 70 to 80 snaps, offensive snaps in a game. I think that's the number where you want to be at, and they're going to be up-tempo, so they might get more than that. You just never know. And then Chris Hudson, he had a rough couple days in camp over last week, but has bounced back, has been one of the most consistent receivers in this receiving core, him and Javion Watley. Great footwork, great fundamentals, and he knows where he is on the football field. There's been a couple times in camp where he's made tiptoe, drag your feet, or tap your feet, get in bounds catches in camp. He's got great spatial awareness, a very good route runner, sneaky quick. I think he is a little under the radar with his speed and just soft hands. Again, had some drop issues. I'm not too worried when it comes to training camp. I think once you put on the helmet, you go underneath the lights and get hit a couple times. If you start having drop issues there, that's a problem. In camp, you can afford some minor issues. But great route runner, great leader in that receiving core. And I think he's going to be a guy that is going to look at that 500 to 700 yard mark with around 8 to 9 touchdowns. I think he's going to be a huge red zone target for Arizona, even with his smaller frame. I think just his ability to be an elite route runner makes him that threat in the red zone. Anything 20 yards in, you're going to see a touchdown from him, and he's got soft hands. Now, he's wearing the number 4. Is he going to be Tetero McMillan? No, but he doesn't have to be. All he has to be is the best Chris Hudson. And I think he's a guy that has been in many different spots, Oregon, Washington State, and understands multiple different offenses. I mean, this could be very well his 3rd or 4th offense coordinator. I don't know those situations, but at the very least, you're looking at his 3rd offense coordinator. But I think the system plays into his strengths. I think you're going to see a lot of up-tempo, get the ball out quick, get it to your playmakers, and he's going to be one of those guys. So I think this bodes well for him and bodes well for the team. Throughout camp, we'll have more updates, defensive updates, all around updates. But to be sure to follow us on Arizona Wildcats on SI, on our website, and on our Twitter page, Arizona Wildcats on SI, or myself, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1995. Click the link, follow us, make sure to follow us, and keep reading our stories and let us know what you like and what you've seen out of Arizona football training camp. We'll be back with you next time.